Good evening, everyone. This is your host, Sherilyn Pellegrino from IntelliTravel. I am your Director of Group Travel with IntelliTravel. I want to welcome all of our IntelliTravel advisors to tonight's interactive groups webinar. Now more than ever, education is extra important to protect the future of your business. During these unprecedented times, IntelliTravel is here for you as always. Remember, the COVID-19 situation is serious but temporary. You will travel again, and you'll find new clients to sell travel to. Believe it or not, people right now are booking vacations. Our partners have relaxed their change policies and the deals are better than ever. So what can you do right now? Here are 5 quick IntelliTravel tips to help you manage and grow your travel business. Tip number 1, educate your clients on what the industry is doing to keep them safe and healthy. Tip number 2, reach out, let them know that you are their loyal and trusted travel advisor. Tip number 3, set up groups for 2023 and 2024. Collaborate with your local business development manager. Have joint conference calls together with your clients. Tip number 4, find the opportunities. The historic deals and values won't last forever. And lastly, tip number 5, further your education. Perfect your fundamentals through IntelliTravel training events like these. Remember, you're not alone. You are never alone. IntelliTravel is here for you more than ever. We are still providing support, answering phones, emails, chats, and continuing projects to help build for your future. We will continue to move forward and we'll all ride out this pandemic together. Know that it will soon pass. Our best advice is pay close attention to the directions and inspiration IntelliTravel is distributing. Thank you for taking time out of your busy evening to join us. We're here to help you grow your travel business. So tonight, get ready to get more out of your partnership and ours with ETS. In this interactive webinar, you will learn all about groups and much, much more. Join us every Wednesday evening for one of these interactive group-focused preferred partner webinars where you'll get hands-on training from the top travel providers, IntelliTravel's preferred partners in travel. Please watch your email for notices about upgrades to our online updates from our online training program. Look for more of these upcoming special appearances by our travel partners. Also, download our IntelliTravel Advisor training app for exclusive access to our weekly preferred podcast. All of this training is brought to you by IntelliTravel.com. So sharpen your pencils and take good notes. But if you missed something or you want to see this seminar again, it's available for free whenever and wherever you want. All of these webinars are archived and available for replay in the IntelliTutorial section of our back office website. At the end of tonight's event, there will be a live question and answer session together with our special guest. However, with so many attendees this evening, it's not possible to open up the phone lines without interrupting the webinar. Right now, everyone except the presenters are on mute. You can submit questions using the question box at any time during the presentation. The question box is found in the control panel at the right of your screen. For those of you on mobile devices or tablets, look for the question mark icon. At the end of the seminar, we will read and answer as many questions as possible. Please be sure to only ask questions that relate to the webinar topic. All other questions should be directed to the email address customerservice@intellitravel.com. And finally, watch the chat box in your control panel for important information, plus other valuable IntelliTravel updates and reminders. So now, without further ado, I'd like to bring on the real expert and your training specialist this evening, your business development manager from ETS, Adam Kent. Adam, take it away.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Cheryl. I'm excited to be here with you guys to really help you break into groups, understand groups better, and how ETS can partner with you to find success within groups and within itself. Before I get too far ahead of myself, I do have a quick little video to help kind of get you maybe a little bit more excited and understand ETS a little bit better. So this could be a little good fun part to help start things off on who ETS.
Adam, there's no audio, no volume.
Uh-oh. This gets me every time. You can still hear me though, correct?
I can hear you, but we can't hear that, and it's kind of frozen.
We'll try it one more time, and if we don't have it, we will move along. Bear with me.
Okay.
My apologies, everyone. See if this does the trick.
Travel with educational travel services.
There we go.
To faith and lives of believers, empowers teachers and preachers, and energizes church ministry in a beautiful and lasting way.
Audio is definitely messed up. That's a shame because it looks like a nice video.
Hmm.
We offer and also include exclusive.
All right, it's just saying it's too choppy for us to continue.
Yeah, I mean, you could still play it because they can get an idea of the area and itineraries and stuff like that in the pictures. It's just they can't hear the audio.
Oh my God, I apologize, everyone. Try it again. Mhm.
All this and more is in short travel lifestyle. All the New Testament manuscripts range from the Middle East all the way to Europe, and ETS offers hundreds of adventures and numerous itineraries to choose from. Follow the missionary journey with Paul in the Mediterranean. Engage in historical and cultural implications of the scriptures when you visit ancient wonders in Egypt, Jordan, and Turkey. As a worldwide leader in Holy Land travel, we are certain to have just the experience you in our ministry. Jesus as his life, death, and resurrection unfold before your very eyes. With visits to Bethlehem, Nazareth, Galilee, ETS has tailored many tours that takes the eye including John Wesley, Martin Luther, and C.S. Lewis. That's the more thing. 430 years of of a Christian heritage story. Experience many beautiful and cultural destinations by the sea with our award-winning cruise partners, Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, and On the Line. Be transported to destinations and uncovered to unpack one. Comfortable staterooms, delicious and bold cuisine, with Bible-style entertainment, food, and music will make your voyage truly memorable. Seeking a cruise, ETS is partnered with all the waterways to bring you a luxurious, elegant option of home operations. With vessels in Asia, Africa, Europe, and more, you can enjoy the company of like-minded believers while exploring cultures around the world. The church of love plan to help you raise awareness of what you're sending of love and peace to the world. Many of church anniversary and other social occasions are times to gather with your faith family. Cultural memories by celebrating vacations all over the world on one of our village trips. Choose your destinations from Alaska, Hawaii, the Caribbean, Antarctica, or more. ETS is honored to make engagement in mission work simple and accessible. No matter what the heart of your ministry is, we can connect you with meaningful and life-changing work and provide you with deeply discerning healthcare all over the globe. In this chapter, and renew your spirit. Come travel with us. Christian Power Educational Travel Saturday enriches the faith and love.
Adam, I think that, we'll just, cancel on the video on that. So let me ask you a question. Maybe at some point, if you could send it to me, and then maybe I could post it on our in our back office so that they could watch it at another time. Because I
Absolutely.
mean, I've seen it before, and it's a beautiful video, and they are very anxious to see it. And I think it would be really a good thing. Gives them a better idea of exactly, seeing exactly on video what ETS does as well. So I think that would be a better idea. For some reason, I think probably because you're not in your home office, that could be a factor on the audio not working.
Yeah, it very well could be. I know that's why also it wasn't, you noticed it was embedded into the PowerPoint, and I was having a lot of struggles getting it to play from there as well. So I was hopeful that
Right.
pulling away from that would
One of
be
the agents did ask, would it happen to be, is it posted on YouTube that they can watch it, or is it on your website that they can watch it?
it would be on our website for sure that you could go and see it there and
Okay.
view it within the website as well.
Okay.
But for convenience, I'll definitely share it with you, Cheryl, that way.
That would be perfect. And I'll put it, and then I'll put it in
Too.
our back office so they could see it. Everybody, I'll get it from Adam, and then I'll post it on the tutorial library, and it'll be under the groups under ETS. So we'll get that posted. All right, so we'll just go ahead and get started again. Thank you, Adam.
Absolutely. Thank you, Cheryl. So 3 major things that we want to be able to cover within today's webinar is not just who ETS is, but the ETS experience. And what does that really mean as far as groups, your advisor benefits, and operations? Pulling all that together so you can better understand how to be successful with groups and how ETS can help lead you to that success within groups. So what even qualifies as a group with ETS? What is going to qualify a group with ETS is selecting one of our departure dates therein, and depending on 2 factors, if it's a standard departure date, then you can recruit into one of our groups there, even if you do have your onesies and your twosies, to where they would be made part of a larger whole group at that point in time. Now that group size that you would be booking into, if you have, for an example, those onesies and twosies, would be at least 25 guests. That is going to be typically the key factor therein of what qualifies as a group with ETS is 25 guests, not 25 cabins, 25 guests. And so if you're not doing a standard program that we currently already have listed on our website, and you have something very specific and very exact that would qualify as what we call in-house a custom departure, whether that's a customized itinerary or a departure date that is not a part of our standard programs. That would be a customization, and that would need at least 25 guests in order for that to be qualified as a group with ETS. Now, that group sizing can fluctuate depending upon your destination. So we would be able to work with you based on that destination, as some destinations are just not able to facilitate something that large as 25, or you're looking at something that could be more of an FIT status. Now that, again, that would not qualify as a group with ETS. What qualifies as a group deadline factor is at least 25 guests. Now, where can you even find this type of information for us, what our group policies are and the procedures with ETS? You can find that at etstours.com. We have all of this laid out on your advisor's portal. Again, at etstours.com, you can review all of those procedures and all of our group policies therein. Now, also alongside with that, you'll have options on that travel advisor's portal to be able to book a group. So yes, there is a way to do that without necessarily having to pick up the phone and call your BDM. We make it fairly easy and streamlined to where you can head right over to etstours.com, select your date of departure, and begin your bookings. What that will do is initiate a point of contact for a salesperson from ETS to reach out to you upon you creating that booking. So it can be very automated in that form of that fashion. Or maybe perhaps you're more traditional, or you have a lot of questions before you wish to be able to move it forward. By all means, most certainly pick up the phone and give a call into your BDM, such as myself, or discuss these options with another sales team member so you can get this group booked and off the ground, up and running. So really the answer to that question is yes, there is an automated service, and yes, you can call it in as well if you want to do it that way. So it's easy enough to be able to register by heading over to etstours.com and registering through our booking online portal, where it would be very automated. And again, someone within the sales team would be reaching out to you with information about your group contracts, which is what you are seeing there below on that following question. The group contracts. How are those contracted? What is the approval process? What does this really look like? So once you've determined that you are wanting to start a booking, so again, if it goes by that automation to where you just registered a guest, a BDM or a sales team member will be reaching out to you to discuss your departure date in your program and how soon you can anticipate a group contract for your review. Again, that group contract will come out to your email for your review. And then alongside with that, you'll also notice that it will also have to meet Cheryl's approval process as well. So this is a two-step process when it comes to your group contracts. First, you'll be able to see it, review all of the terms and conditions within that group agreement to be able to make sure everything is on the up and up and matches the sale information that you're receiving from your BDM, or matches maybe some of those customizations that you made for a custom group, and get that moving along and forward with your sales team member. And if you want to be able to make sure that it's all the way through, signing that will allow it to be able to go to Cheryl for her to be able to see it as well, so she can get her signature on there and move this all the way forward. So please know, for the group contract to be fully approved, you have to sign it along with Cheryl having to sign it as well. And all of this information can be simply provided through any sales team member at ETS. Again, you can pick up the phone and call that in, or you do the automated service to where you just register a guest, and a sales team member from ETS will be in contact with you about that group contract and when to anticipate it. It'll come to you in full print to where you can review each line within the leisure of your own timing to be able to make sure that you thoroughly understand it. But again, as mentioned, it's always great to be able to just pick up the phone and talk with a sales team member to make sure that you fully understand it before you sign it, for a full approval to be met by Cheryl as well. So that is a quick review that we can do on groups. What qualifies a group with educational travel services? At least 25 guests. Where can you find the group policy information? At etstours.com. And yes, you have an automated service to be able to book a group, or you could just pick up the phone and give us a call. And for those group agreements to be fully approved, it has to first go through your hands for a full signature, and then on to Cheryl for her signature and approval as well. Now, maybe some of the more fun things besides just simply cleaning house are some of the things that might make you interested about getting into groups and working with ETS. We have a 15% earnable commission, which is paid at the group's departure date. So upon the group's departing, you will have an account manager working with you to be able to verify all accounts and confirming to be able to make sure that we're getting your commission check sent out to IntelliTravel to be able to make sure that you are being paid for your group. Again, some of those fun things of working with ETS, that 15% earnable commission, and more of advisor benefits that you have are those TCs. It is a 1-for-10 TC ratio, and that is an all-inclusive TC. So what does that mean? That does not mean that you're going to have to go back to your free and say, well, you're going to have to pay for the taxes, or you're going to have to pay for the air, and then you're going to have to pay for this. It is an all-inclusive TC. So to make it even simpler when we're talking about, as you heard me say, the air, for an example, if you have 10 full paying guests that are all flying out of Dallas-Fort Worth, then that means your TC also has air that originates from Dallas-Fort Worth that is included in that free. And those TCs are not capped out. So that means as large as your group grows and as comfortable as you feel of a group size, then that means more TCs can be earned. So for example, let's say that you have 20 guests now booked into the program. That means your 21st and 22nd guests are your frees. Let's say that you have 30 guests booked into the program. That means yes, 31, 32, and 33 are frees. And that would still be an all-inclusive free. And you can kind of see where I'm going with that, right? To where it's like, okay, we started with 10, 20, 30, it goes on to 40 to 50 to 60 to 100. Really, again, based on your level of comfortability of how large you wish your group to grow. And that TCs will be able to continue to be able to follow you, so it's not capped out. Now, another great advisor benefits, to where you heard me mention earlier, is that advisor's portal. This is going to house a lot of great things for you, such, for instance, marketing tools. Yes, we had that little fun snafu with the video. Gotta love technology sometimes. You could find that video in that marketing tools section on your advisor's portal, to where you can review that, view it, download it, and then share it as you would like. And then also that would be true for the majority of all the programs that you can promote for your groups, to where you could directly download that video, not try to share it through YouTube, not try to share it through our website. You would be able to download it directly and upload it to maybe a group leader's website, to the church's website, up onto any kind of social media page to, again, it's where it's not like a weird third party circular motion to where, no, it's like it's your video, because as you had seen in there, that there's not a lot of name dropping from ETS in our promotional videos. We want to promote you, the advisor, not ETS. We're just the operator. We're about your success, because if you're successful, then in turn, obviously, we're successful. So it's a win-win for all parties. So within those marketing tools, yes, you'll be able to find videos. You'll be able to find engaging training videos. So you'll be able to find other promotional materials as far as how to approach group leaders. You'll be able to find timeline and how you would be able to establish a group as far as the initial contact all the way through to booking, to be able to understand that timeline. You'll even be able to find an icebreaker letter to be able to send to group leaders, to where you can download that letter, tweak it to be able to fit your voice as you're trying to be able to gain an audience with the group leader. And that's just really just kind of the tip of the iceberg of those different things that are within those marketing tools and resources on Advisors Portal. Now, another exciting thing that we have on your Advisors Portal is training. And within that training, we can certify you as a faith-based specialist. If you take our faith-based specialist course, you'll be able to receive our certificate, and then also a button there for your email signature line that will be able to help convey the factor that you are a faith-based specialist, that you know exactly what you're talking about. And these trainings are very simple and easy to digest. It's not in a longhand format. And by that, I mean, it's no longer than a 20-minute video session at best. It's 8 different sessions to where you can be able to do that quickly, maybe in your free time here and there on your lunch break, or just take the whole weekend and really just kind of get it all done and out of the way and be certified as a faith-based specialist. And it's going to have all that great information in there for you, again, about how to be able to approach a group leader, how to be able to gain groups, how it is that ETS helps you find success by creating specific marketing tools and resources for you, like a customized brochure for you and your group leader. Now, also within that Advisors Portal is that registration and payment submission. This is kind of hinting back towards what we were talking about earlier, where you could go to the website and it would be more an automated service where you would submit the registration, and then that would initiate a point of contact from a salesperson from ETS. So you can submit your registrations there on the automated portal, or say, you picked up the phone, you had everything worked out ahead of time, and now you just go to Advisors Portal and submit that registration. On that Advisors Portal as well, within those tools, is the payment submissions. Now, through this payment submissions, we're able to allow you to submit your guests' information to apply payment, whether that's credit or debit card and or an electronic check payment. So again, that's still in line with IntelliTravel's line of thought, to where you are not obtaining or retaining passengers' payment information. You are using that system to be able to create that buffer there as a safeguard that I know IntelliTravel likes to be able to have you guys have to help protect yourselves. So you would find all of those there on your Advisors Portal. So a quick just little recap. ETS's earnable commission is 15%. Your commission is paid at the group's departure date. We have a 1 for 10, no capped, all-inclusive TC, and within your portal you have great marketing resources, great training, and registration and payment submissions there for you. Now, some more of the housekeeping items, some of the stuff that might not be too much fun for you, but it's the operations. This is kind of the nuts and the bolts, the things that you absolutely have to be able to know to be able to make sure you're keeping everything in a line and check. And also within operations, I want to be able to reassure you that even though you were able to pick up that phone and talk to a salesperson, you have your BDM, everything's great, everything's fantastic, and then you get to operations and you think, my goodness, who's going to help me through this process? ETS does not just forget about you after that moment. You still matter to us, and we know that there's still some work left to be done. And that's why we have in-house for you what we call an account manager. This is the person that really kind of help move things along for you. If you have questions about how to get payments submitted, questions about how a registration was submitted, questions about document submissions, anything that we're really going to talk about here right now, your account manager is there for you to be able to access them to help you out in your time of need when it comes to things that are operational. So we'll be with you every step of the way of this. So it isn't just us trying to figure out how to be able to get your group started and then you're promoting and we don't know your name anymore. No, we know you all the way through and through. And some of those things within operations to need to know are those deadlines, deposits, and final payments. What does that look like? So within our groups, a $300 registration deposit is due the time of registration, and that would be per person. So there's no need for you to try to work up a big, huge group deposit to confirm any type of space. ETS is a large enough operator to where you can book into space that we're already currently holding without you having to worry about, again, putting down a huge group deposit. Again, it's just that $300 registration deposit for each person at the time of registering. And then the only other time that we would need funds from your guest would be at final payment. Final payment is 105 days to your date of departure. That would be the only time that we would need another form of payment from you. Now, however, there is the option for your guests to be able to submit payment at their leisure from the time of registration to final payment using that payment portal that we discussed earlier on your advisor's portal. You could simply use that. Again, whether that's a credit card, debit card, or the electronic check, you're processing that information through on our website, again, without you having to retain or keep any kind of records of their financial information. So again, we're protecting you within that moment. And that can kind of help them take that as they may to be able to help digest maybe a higher price point or again, a price point overall in general. So again, the registration deposit is $300 per person and final payment is due at 105 days to your date of departure. Now, here's another big one. Is an agent permitted to pay net instead of gross? No, that is not the case. Absolutely not. You would most certainly need to be paying in gross, and you will see what that amount is for each and every single guest on your invoice that is uploaded to your agent portal. So you can see that exactly how it's all laid out for each individual, no matter what their booking might consist of, no matter where their domestic departure city is, or what maybe particular add-ons that they might have had, single rooms, a deviation, staying longer, adding a hotel room, whatever it may be, all of that will be listed out on your invoice, giving you their total gross that would be due for each and every single guest. So yes, you would need to be paying in gross and not paying in net for your guests. Now, sometimes it happens. We might not also necessarily like that, but what are we doing to find out our cancellation and refund policy information? This information, while it is listed out on our website, there's going to be one major key place that you will see it and that you will want to thoroughly review would be your group agreement. Your group agreement will list out the cancellation and refund policy based on your booking. And you will have that group agreement as a PDF to you can revert back to that as needed, depending on how those cancellations or potential refunds are coming through your system or our system to us from you. And then also at that same time, to help your guests understand the cancellation and refund policy, our customized brochures that we would do for you and your group leader will also list that information out in the fine print. So you have the capability to clearly communicate that to your guests. And then ETS also is making sure right up front, we're clearly communicating that with you as the advisor in your group agreement. So where is it that you can get help for support for automation, making bookings in an automation system? So there's, again, like I mentioned, you have the opportunity to visit etstours.com. And then also alongside with that, you can pick up the phone and give in a call to any one of our sales team members and even an account manager. We're all very familiar with our systems to be able to help make sure you're getting connected and plugged in the right ways, getting the right information when you need it in that moment. So please do not hesitate to pick up the phone and give us a call in your moment of need when you're reviewing our website, trying to get that booking in, or, every system with every operator always seems to be slightly different, just enough to where it can create enough confusion to where you might not be too sure. So again, always just pick up the phone, give us a call. We'd love to be able to talk with you, make sure that we are conveying confidence to you as the advisor to know that you're moving forward with the booking properly and in the right way and right manner by just picking up the phone and giving us a call. So that is one way that you can get support from our automation system, as well as just following the steps that is listed on the website. So typically every single step before you do it has a step-by-step guide before you get to the actual processes of submitting that information, whether it's a registration and or even payments. So you'll be able to follow that step-by-step therein. So again, quick overview of operations. Your registration deposits are $300 per person. Final payment is 105 days to your date of departure. You are not permitted to pay net. You must pay gross on your guests. You can find all of your cancellation and refund policy information on our website, within your group agreement, and on the brochures. You can get all the support that you might need in help making bookings directly from your BDM, such as myself, as you're seeing my contact information therein. You can maybe screenshot this, help save it for later, just in case if you're in the chat and we don't get to your question due to time or something else, you can always follow up along with me by phone or email to be able to make sure we get your questions answered or to help you get that group booking moved right along. Cannot stress it enough. A salesperson, your BDM can be one of the greatest tools that you have. So please reach out. I love talking with every single one of the IntelliTravel advisors. You guys are some of the best within the industry. You guys have some of the most greatest energy and most excitement when it comes to groups, especially groups within faith-based travel. I just absolutely love it. And it gets me excited. It gets me all geared up and excited about the things that you guys have going with all the bookings that I see coming through from IntelliTravel all the time, every day. It's absolutely exciting. And to be able to help open up the floor to questions, I'm going to be able to hand it over to Cheryl again to be able to make sure we're getting to those key component questions that you guys have for us today.
Okay, Adam, we got lots. So, and we've got lots of time, which is great. Do you provide scooter rental to assist the disabled like myself?
Right. So when it comes to the Holy Land, there is a lot of limitations that we have within our groups that we're not able to facilitate, unfortunately. And a lot of that isn't necessarily due to ETS. That's just due to the sites and locations you visit while in Israel. Now, maybe sometimes when it comes to, as you saw maybe in the video, hopefully that was conveyed, that you see that we're partnering with cruise lines like Celebrity and Royal. Obviously, you would be able to be tapped into the resources that they have there on the cruise ship. Now, if you are, we get this question quite frequently now, if you are having a group that's large enough to facilitate this, then that comes in a part of that gray area that I mentioned earlier. Depending on destinations and other factors, that group sizing can fluctuate. And this would be one of those moments as, buses that have the proper equipment for scooters or wheelchairs aren't exactly seating larger style groups. And so at that point in time, we would work with you within a group size that would be more like 10 or 15 at that time with a motor coach that could facilitate your needs. That doesn't go without saying that you might run into some issues at some sites and locations, as Israel does not have an ADA enforcement. I'm so sorry.
Okay. If clients or myself are part of one of your tours, is it possible to attend a religious mass or worship at a local church?
Right, and that's one of the great things about working with ETS. 50 years ago, we're coming on 51 now, we were founded by a pastor. The majority of the staff here are practicing their faith, and so what that means is that we directly understand the needs of your guests from the first person perspective. So that means for celebrating Mass, we have programs that are completely dedicated to Catholic pilgrimages. So 100% yes, you will be able to celebrate Mass with a traveling priest, as we do not facilitate the spiritual as an operator. So that's not our place. But if you have a priest traveling with your group, yes, you'll be able to celebrate Mass at local churches to be able to add in that extra little something special.
Okay. If a client needs to follow a specific diet plan, can we request be made when the trip is booked?
Yes, absolutely. That's you'll notice on the registration form for your guests, there is a section dedicated to this. So if you are having a fairly large group and you have maybe a multitude of different people that have, nut allergy, they're gluten free, or they have another allergy, or any other types of food or dietary restrictions, you can list that based on the individual on the registration form for them. And you'll find that while you're traveling that there'll be some local cuisine and some cuisine that would be very familiar to our Western palates.
Okay. Are there options to reserve rooms at hotels for religious services?
Absolutely. And I'll be able to take that a step further as well. So you'll be able to reserve that meeting space at hotels. We definitely can facilitate that. And then also, that's one of the great things about working with us when it comes to faith-based cruising, is that we're also able to acquire space based on your group size with the cruise line to where you can hold religious services on the cruise line for days at sea. And that could be for a plethora of different things. And you'll kind of notice that when you start looking at some of our faith-based cruising itineraries to where we allow for training and teaching while for days at sea.
Okay. All right. The deposit, hold on one second. I'm just responding to a question. Okay. The deposit, is the deposit per person or per group?
That would be per person.
Okay. Is it typical for children under the age of 18 to be included as passengers who are part of a group?
Yes, but we do have an age limit of at least 13 years of age for our standard departure dates. If you are doing something, as I mentioned earlier, that's customized, while we will still kind of provide that cautionary tale of at least being 13 years of age, that's really up to you and your group leader of that age limit.
Okay. Do you have to have 25 guests at the beginning of the booking for a group, or can it grow up to 25 guests?
No, absolutely. You can grow up to the 25 guests.
Okay. How soon in advance does ETS notify agents of a possible safety change if a region for their upcoming trip has been upgraded to unsafe?
Well, I know that safety can be a concern when it comes to Israel, the Holy Land overall. There hasn't been a whole lot of times that the State Department has made a release to where we've had to turn around and notify our guests, or our advisors rather, for their guests for a safety protocol. Now, however, just because the State Department hasn't made an announcement does not mean that ETS itself has not made an announcement based on some different activities that happened there within Israel. So yes, if there is some a cautionary note that's coming, even regardless if the State Department has made a release, typically ETS will have a response to that. But do know that safety is a key paramount factor. So for instance, by that I mean, this could be one of those exceptions to that cancellation, to where if your guests were getting ready to depart, we would place your guest safety first and not allow them to travel because it's been deemed unfit or unsafe for travel. Now, we'll also say this. Throughout our history, there hasn't been a time or moment that that's had to happen outside of maybe 9/11, say. So we haven't seen any moments like that since then. And by that, also the sites and locations you're visiting within Israel are quite safe. And that's because you're not visiting hot spots for these types of activities. You are hundreds of miles away from these sites and locations that would be constituted or considered a hot spot. That would be like considering if something happened in Texas, that you wouldn't come over here to Disneyland in Florida. No, you would still go because you know that the time and space and distance between Texas and Florida is great enough that their causation is just not going to reach that far. And that's one of the examples I like to provide for that.
Okay. All right. Next one. What determines whether a group is too big?
That would really be based on you and your comfortability level. So, if you feel fine enough with just one motor coach, and our motor coach is seat 52. So if you're saying, hey, I only want 50 guests, then that's fine. That's what we'll do for you. If you're wanting to grow beyond measure and means, great, fantastic. In 2 weeks, I'm escorting a group of 230 guests from Miami. So, I mean, you tell me how large your group wants to grow, and we'll meet you there.
Okay. Are payment plans available?
While we don't have a constituted direct payment plan, as mentioned earlier when we were discussing payments, if your guest registers at the $300 registration deposit, they can submit payments at their leisure. So you could maybe formulate
Great, right.
a payment plan, or your guest can kind of determine, hey, every 2 weeks or every month, I'm just going to pay this amount towards it. And again, you can just go to the payment portal online and do that. So long as your guest is paid in full at that 105-day marker, they can come up with whatever style payment plan they wish.
Okay. Do we get a link for our groups to be able to do payments?
So there is what we have. We're in the middle of transitioning at this time, so it's hard to say that at this time that it's just like a direct website or a landing page you would have for your guests. Well, as an advisor, you have an agent portal, and then you have a landing page that facilitates your program, but it doesn't have a payment button yet. We're working on that. However, there is the option to take the URL from the payment link from the standard advisors portal for you to be able to share with your guests. I will say, making sure that you're tracking that to your best ability. That way you can intelligently speak to any kind of payment complications your guests might run into.
Okay. So, and another question tying into that same thing, is it only, if it's only 2 payments needed, can a traveler make multiple payments until completely paid by the due date?
Yes.
Okay. How did the payments, everybody's tied on to this payments issue. How does payments work if the client's trip is less than 105 days away? So it would be like full payment, or?
Correct. So that's a fairly complex situation. So yes, they would fully pay in, but based on, how we have everything set up to where you're booking into group space that we've acquired, anytime that a registration is received after final payment, it's considered a late add-in house. So what we're going to do is make sure that we confirm the space at the hotel with the group and the confirmed space with our airline carrier within the group before we just say, yeah, come along. We want to be able to make sure that, yes, we can get your guest there before we just start taking money from you. Because the last thing we want to do is receive a payment in full, turn around, and then come back to you to have you go back to your guest and say, I'm so sorry. Here's all your money back. We couldn't find the space. We want to make sure that we can confirm it all the way through before we take any type of monies from you. Now, however, if you're saying 105 days and you submitted 104 days, obviously your guest is going to be placed on there with no issues. It's more so for those much closer to the date of departure, that 60 days out type registrations.
Would the group be able to do a mission project of some kind?
Yes, absolutely. There's been times in the past where we've created programs that you could book directly into for Costa Rica. I myself created a missions program that you could book directly into to visit Haiti. So there's several different options on the table to where you could do something missions driven. All the way to the degree that to where it could take on something very customized, to where if you're a group leader or yourself has direct missionary ties overseas somewhere, we can intertwine our program to kind of meet those needs. And this happens quite a lot, to where we have an advisor that has missions connections there in Israel, Egypt, or the surrounding area, to where they say, hey, I need space at the hotel because my missionary friend's going to come and speak to the group. And or, hey, I have these schools, I have these connections to a school overseas that my church donates to, and we want to take a day to visit that school. Yes, we've done these types of things before in the past.
Okay. So is these types of tours strictly for Christians?
No. So that means that this can be based on maybe your particular faith background. While our major product is revolving around that Christian faith, we have done Judaism heritage tours, and then several other different types of faith-based programming. So that really is kind of based on whoever your group leader is and what they're trying to facilitate. You let us know, and then we'll work with you for sure.
Okay. So do the group guests need to conform to the certain way of dress in particular countries? And is that something they're given notice about?
So when it comes to that, yes, you'll be able to receive a notification and some protocols or guidelines, I think would probably be the better wordage there, within the final document booklet that each and every single guest receives. I will also say this, that if we're just talking mainly Israel, there isn't a whole lot of enforcement of particular type of dress within reason, obviously, and everything in good taste. But there would only be certain moments where if you were visiting a holy site to where maybe, your knees couldn't be showing or your head would need to be covered. And that's even for men. So for instance, in Israel, when you visit the Western Wall, men have to cover their head, but they have little paper throwaway yarmulkes to where you can just put it on your head, visit the Western Wall, and then when you leave, you can kind of throw it away at use. So I will say that typically, depending on your destination, we're going to provide some kind of answers to some FAQs that some of your guests will have, and clothing and dress will be a part of that in their final document.
Okay. Does it have to be a church group, or could it be several individuals who'd like to go on a Holy Land tour? Meaning, does it have to be under a pastor or a priest?
It does not have to be under a pastor or a priest. And that's the beautiful thing about this type of travel, is that it pulls all different types of people together because it's all rooted in one thing, and that one thing that usually creates great ties with people. So for instance, I've had it to where it would just be a women's group that met every Tuesday for tea. I can't remember the neat little name they had for themselves, but they wanted to visit Israel. And it was just this group of ladies that wanted to come together and take themselves there. So absolutely, you can do that without that. I will, however, make one comment towards that exception to the priest, which was a part of a question earlier about masses being celebrated. Again, if you want to be able to celebrate mass, you will want that priest to be with your group to be able to facilitate the sacraments and the celebratory.
Okay. All right. Do you recommend clients get travel insurance, and does ETS offer travel insurance?
I think Teletravel would probably recommend to tell you to be able to do so, and I would encourage you. Now, again, ETS does have a third-party provider that, again, does pay out a 15% earnable commission.
Who do you guys work with?
We work with TripMate.
Okay.
You're not required to use our provider. So that means if IntelliTravel says, hey, we have a preferred partner that we recommend that you use, or, for some of you advisors that are tuned in today, that you've been in the industry long enough that you've formed and forged that relationship, ETS isn't trying to become in between you and that partnership that you already have created, or that partnership that IntelliTravel is forging for you in the marketplace by gathering such great partners. Please, by all means, honor that relationship. But we do know the convenience of keeping everything in-house. And yes, ETS does have the option for you to use insurance through a third-party provider of TripMate.
Okay. Is the support 24/7?
Now, when you're traveling, yes, we do have an emergency line to where you can reach someone 24/7. Now, when it comes to far as like the sales, support, and your account manager, we are limited to our office hours, which would be 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern time, Monday through Friday.
Wow, we're almost all through the questions. That's great. Is there tracking to see which clients have made payments and who hasn't?
Wow, I love this question. This is great. Yes. As mentioned earlier, you have an invoice that's uploaded to your agent portal that keeps track of everything that every single individual within your group is doing. So if your guest makes a payment, you're going to see in that section their ID number, their name, the amount, and what form. Now, again, that's by what form, I don't mean it's going to show you their credit card information. It's just going to say credit, debit, or electronic check. So you know what form that they were using, how much, the date, and the time that that payment was submitted. All of that will be there. And let's say, for instance, you're dealing with a family. So you got a family of 4, and this family of 4 says, well, I want you to take $500 from my account, and I want to be able to pay that towards my sister's account. It'll even track that as well. So anytime any monies is being moved, touched to any account, any kind of sort of way, your invoice is going to track that.
Okay. Are these only for groups, or do you have smaller numbers? Do you allow smaller numbers?
Yes, while we are majoring in groups, we do have the capacity to kind of function a little bit within FITs. Now, because we are groups heavy operator, typically when we're working with smaller groups, we are not facilitating the air because our group contracts with our airline partners are typically always group contracts of no smaller than 25. So if you're dabbling with that 15 or below marker, that oddball range there, yes, we can facilitate that, but typically it's not going to be paired with air based on our partnerships with the airlines.
So what's the minimum starting point at number wise? If you're not, I mean, when you're talking FIT, I mean, are you really doing FIT, or,
Yes.
like starting at like 5, or I mean, is there a minimum?
Yeah, typically minimum of 4 is
4.
what I've.
Okay.
4. Yeah,
Okay.
it's and because we're typically groups operator, we're not getting a lot of those requests, but we do facilitate them here and there as they do come through. Yeah.
Okay. All right. One question was, how about conformities due to COVID?
Currently at this time, I don't think there's a whole lot of countries left that are having particular COVID protocols in place.
Okay, so you pretty much lifted them. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, Israel, I think I was there in February, and then a couple weeks after I was there in February of this year, they dropped everything. And then they even last month, a lot of different destinations were requiring you to fill like this health document form, tracking form, whatever, depending on whatever that country branded that as, where you just had an extra paperwork, because we all love paperwork. They even did away with that. So it's essentially just like travel used to be. So long as you're good within 6 months of your return date, you're good to go. You do not have to disclose any kind of vaccination information or any type of testing information. ETS has always observed the destination's protocols. So never in the history of COVID did ETS say, if you want to travel with ETS, you must do X, Y, and Z. It was always ETS stating, whatever the country's protocols are, we're going to observe those. So just keep that in mind as you're thinking about destinations. But currently at this time, there are no COVID restrictions in place for travel to Israel.
Okay. How far in advance would you book a trip with flights? How far in advance would you book the tour? And the next question on that same thing is, can they choose their preferred airline?
So how early do you want to book out a group?
Yeah.
Typically, we recommend if you're starting fresh out the gate, you don't even know this group leader and so on and so forth, you would want to look at something 16 months out. Now, if you already have that relationship with that pastor or that priest, that can really look a lot differently because they trust you, they know who you are, and you guys can move fairly quickly with a departure date. So then at that point in time, you could look at something a year out or maybe a little bit less, but I wouldn't recommend anything less than 8 to 10 months. But again, that can depend on your group leader, and the relationship that you have with your group leader. Now, when it comes to booking air, those of you that have, I love talking with advisors because you guys just get this. Our airlines are still a mess. Oh, I love them right now. So typically we're providing air information with 90 to 60 days out to your group's departure. However, with the current airline situation that we've been running into, we have been looking at closer to 60 to 30 days to sharing flight information. And by sharing flight information, I'm meaning, hey, this is your guest record locator number. This is their booking number, to where you have access and you know exactly what that is. There hasn't been an exact time frame as of this year, just because of how much of a mess the airlines have been. Prior years, ETS was making sure that we were getting you flight information 90 to 60 days out to your group's departure date. We're hopeful that the airlines get together and we all get right back on that page in 2023.
Okay. I have 2 more questions and then that's it. We're done. If a person already paid their $300 deposit, and then they earn a TC, are they refunded their deposit back? How does that work? And is the TC done prior to departure or is it done after?
Right. This is a wonderful question. So what I would recommend is, if you are planning on earning a TC or you're anticipating an earned TC, register your TC without having to submit a deposit, which is possible. You can submit that registration without a deposit, because yes, we will refund that $300 if you earn a TC. What ETS doesn't want to do is just become this weird revolving door of money to where we're always like money, 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 money. No.
Right.
Get them registered. And if you don't earn a TC, then that's going to be a conversation for a different time. But again, if you're anticipating earning that TC, there's no real need for you to send us $300 for us to send $300 back to you. Again, because you've had that conversation with your group leader, you have the opportunity for free travel group leader, get them excited about that. You don't want to then turn around and say, well, I know I said that it was free travel, but I need $300. They're like, well, what really is it? So, again, building that reputation, just saying, hey, no, we'll worry about that once we get there. And once you do earn a TC, your invoice is going to house that information. It will populate it on your invoice. It'll show you exactly what's been earned. Again, like I mentioned earlier, like if you get 10 registrations out of DFW, then you're going to get your TC's airfare from DFW, and you'll see that in your invoice that, oh, I've earned a land TC, I've earned my TC's air. All of that will be computed at that time that it's earned. So it's not necessarily applied at like the date of departure. No, once you've actually hit that TC marker to where it's earned, it'll populate on your invoice. And again, that TC is not capped. So if you get 40 guests, you're going to see 4 TCs populated on your invoice. And that would also still mean that you could register those 4 people without submitting a deposit.
Okay. And this is the last question for the evening. Can you tell us again where exactly on the website to go to get the certification from ETS?
It's going to be actually on our landing page. So if you head over to etstours.com, and then if you're already signed up and registered with us, you know exactly what to do to be able to log in. You'll see it on that landing page on your advisor's portal, which is faith-based specialist course. And you just start taking in that information, submit it, and then you'll have that access to start and begin the course.
Okay. All right. So that was our last question for the evening. So do we have a prize giveaway, Adam?
Yes, absolutely. So what we do have is a laptop over-the-shoulder ETS bag along with an ETS mug.
Oh, that's very nice. Very, very nice. Okay. So let me go ahead and pull a name. If I call your name, if you would please go to the Q&A box, let me know that you're here by saying I am here, and also put down your PIN number. I need you to tell me that you're here, and then say I'm here and put your PIN number down at the same time. So the winner this evening, if you are here, is going to be Aaron Sparkman. Aaron Sparkman, if you are here, please go to the Q&A box and let me know I'm here with your PIN number, please. Let me know that you are here with your PIN number. Go to the Q&A. Let me look and see if he is here. Any questions? We pretty much got to all of them, but some of them did come up at the last minute. Aaron is there. Yay, Aaron, you did it right. Perfect.
Yay.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, 397-655. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Aaron. There was a couple of questions that we did not get to. They popped in at the same time we were ending it. Adam's information is right there. You can send him an email. and he can respond to those questions, or you can always reach out to myself. Again, my email is groups, GROUPS @intellitravel.com. You can always send me an email. Myself or my team will get back to you and respond to you as quickly as possible. Adam, what a great webinar. Lots of great notes. Everybody's saying what a great webinar. They really enjoyed it. I think, you know, of course, it would have been more perfect if we got to see the video, but that's okay.
I
It
know.
happens, you know, things happen. So I really do appreciate it. I mean, remember what I tell you agents every single Wednesday night when we had these groups focused webinars, that knowledge is power, knowledge is power. Take this opportunity to learn all about educational travel service. What a great opportunity. I can guarantee you there are churches, there are all kinds of organizations that are interested in faith-based travel. It is a great way for you to earn more money. Groups, of course, I always say to you is the way to go, but I guarantee you, your church, if you attend church, your priest, your pastor, they're interested in somebody saying to you, hey, have you ever thought about putting a group together, especially to go to Israel? I myself, in my previous life, did a lot of escorting and did tours to Israel. I worked for a Jewish company, and we did tours to Israel and Greece and all over the place. And the first time you ever go to Israel, I can tell you, when the plane lands, you feel like you're home, and it doesn't matter what faith you're based in, you know, it doesn't matter. And when the plane left Israel, I cried because it was just such a heartwarming, inspirational trip. I was, you know, the only Christian amongst 100 Jewish senior citizens, and I had the best time of my life, and I've been many times since. And it's a unbelievable country, and an unbelievable opportunity. And I, you know, definitely say to all of you, please take this opportunity, look to see what they have to offer, and reach out. I'm telling you, you'd be very surprised on how much you can really materialize on groups on this. So I really encourage all of our agents to do that. Go back and rewatch this webinar again. Remember, they're always archived in our back office under the IntelliTutorial library. There is a section under groups, and all of our partners that I do on Wednesday nights, they're all listed there, so you can watch them at your leisure. They usually, after we do these on Wednesday nights, it takes about 72 hours for them to be loaded. So you can go back and watch this. And also I will get the video from Adam, and I will get that posted up there as well. So Adam, lots of great comments. They're saying great presentation, great webinar. Thank you, Adam. So lots of great notes. I really appreciate it. I know you're on the road. I really appreciate your taking the time to be there for us with our IntelliTravel advisors and to, you know, conduct this presentation tonight. And any last words?
No, absolutely. I love being here with you guys. It's always fantastic. And dare I forget that there is an IntelliTravel exclusive FAM to Israel, January 25th. Yes,
Fantastic.
that is exclusive FAM to Israel, January 25th, $1,998, including your international airfare from EWR. So email me if you have questions on that. Visit the website to check that out. But it would be a shame on me if I forget to tell you that IntelliTravel has an exclusive.
There's an opportunity, guys. What were we just talking about? There's your opportunity to join and to go when it's an exclusive IntelliTravel FAM. So I encourage all of you, go onto the website, look at it, look at the information. Great opportunity, everyone. Great opportunity. So, okay, thank you so much, everybody. I am going to sign it off for the night. Adam, we'll talk tomorrow. And I'll send you the information on Aaron as well. Everybody have a great evening. We will be back on next Wednesday night with another webinar on groups focus. Thank you all. Everybody stay safe, stay healthy, and have a good night. Thanks, Adam. Take care.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.